Dear listeners and viewers on YouTube, we'd like to present you Bible trivia from the book of Genesis. And the first question we have for today is, what was the first bird released from the ark?
The answer is raven. We find this in Genesis chapter 8 verse 7.
Next question, who was Noah's father?
Lamech was Noah's father. Genesis chapter 5 verse 28 and 29.
Third question we have, what relation to Abram was Lot?
His nephew. Genesis chapter 14 verse 12.
What was the content of the cup-bearer's dream interpreted by Joseph?
A vine bringing forth grapes which are pressed into a cup. Genesis chapter 40 verse 9 to 12.
What did Joseph send to his father from Egypt?
He sent 10 male donkeys and 10 female donkeys laden with goods from Egypt. Genesis chapter 45 verse 23.
Who stole his father's household gods?
Rachel stole. We can find this in Genesis chapter 31 verse 32. Next question, from which land did Isaac tell Jacob not to take a wife?
From the land of Canaan. We can read about in Genesis 28, chapter 28 verse 1. And next question we have is, how old was Joseph when he began serving Pharaoh? He was 30 years old. And Genesis 41, chapter 41 verse 46, we read about this.
Question number 9. Which king was saved from death by Abraham's prayer? King Abimelech was saved. Genesis chapter 20 verse 17. Question number 10. What did Abraham do when he heard that Lot was made a prisoner of war? He fought to rescue him. Genesis chapter 14 verse 14 to 16. And question number 12. God appeared to Jacob on the way to Egypt in a vision at Beersheba. But what did he tell him? Don't fear going to Egypt. He would be made into a great nation there. Genesis chapter 46 verse 3.
Dear listeners and viewers on YouTube, we have the last question for today from the book of Genesis. What did God tell the people not to eat after the flood? And the answer is blood. We can read about this and more about the food in Genesis chapter 9 verse 3 and 4. When King Herod died, his 3 sons ruled over his divided kingdom from 4 BC to AD 37.
In second number, the Bible fact is, the person who lived longest in the Bible is Methuselah. He lived 969 years. Other people in Genesis 5 also lived long lives. For example, Mahalalel lived 895 years.
And third one we have is Noah, the son of Lamech. About his son Noah, Lamech says, he will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord has cursed. Genesis 5:29. He comforts humankind by building the ark and so became the means of rescuing humankind. The prophet Jeremiah is described in a variety of ways. He has been called the weeping prophet, Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 1, chapter 13 verse 17. The prophet of loneliness, Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 2. And the reluctant prophet, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 6. In the same way, the prophet Isaiah was born into an influential upper class family. He lived most of his life in Jerusalem.
And seventh one is, Timothy was the son of a Greek father and a Jewish mother named Eunice. Paul referred to him as his true son in the faith. Timothy received 2 letters from Paul, now known as 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy.
Moses was timid about speaking. The Lord provided Aaron, his brother, to be his mouthpiece. We can read about this in Exodus chapter 4, verse 10 through 17. Job's friend who spoke to him in the midst of his calamity, Eliphaz, Bildad, Zophar, and Elihu gave poor comfort to Job since they tried to find some reason in Job's life for his acute suffering.
Another fact is many significant women of the Bible were infertile or barren at some point in their lives. Such women include Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Samson's mother, and Hannah, Samuel's mother.
The name James is the English equivalent of the Hebrew name Jacob.
Of the 41 times James appears in the Bible, it refers 19 times to James the son of Zebedee and brother of John, 4 times to James the son of Eliphaz, and 3 times to a son of Mary.
In the New Testament, a pillar of the church was a recognized leader of the church like James, Peter, and John. Galatians chapter 2 verse 9.
Jesus is not only mentioned in the New Testament. The Jewish historian Josephus mentions Jesus in his writings known as the Antiquities of the Jews.
Jesus is called by many different names. For example, he is called Emmanuel, which means God with us, root of David, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the bright and morning star, and the shoot from the stump of Jesse.
John the Baptist was known as the Baptist since his ministry involved preaching repentance and performing baptisms in the Jordan River.
The name Moses is derived from the verb to draw out. It was a suitable name for a man who was drawn out of the river Nile.
And the last one is Jacob's name came from the fact that he grasped the heel of his twin brother Esau during their birth.
Dear listeners and viewers on YouTube, thank you for listening and watching on YouTube.